Hello and welcome to the Talking Wednesday podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Punk, aka Jake. There is no Dex, there's no Worko this week. Worko is sick and Dex is currently in the process of packing his house down because he's moving house, and we did say we weren't too sure what was going to happen in November with him moving house and stuff, because we all know how stressful that can be. So good luck to him and in partner on the house move, and hopefully everything goes well and everything can be done really quickly, really. Now, also today is Remembrance Sunday, and we remember the people who we have lost, who have gone to war for us and lost their life to make this action so we can have what we got now. So it's one of those situations where I know there's a lot of our community who have got loved ones or lost loved ones who have been in the armed forces, so we will remember them today. So yeah, it's one of them where we have to remember them. It'd be wrong if we didn't. So we're not gonna really do how the week been kind of thing, because it's only just me. To be honest, it's been long, it's been difficult, it's been a week. And in terms of Sheffield Wednesday, it's also been a week. So midweek we played Norwich City, and Norwich are in a world of trouble, just above us in the relegation zone, not doing well. And I thought this was a game we could have got some thing from, because they're not in great form, and I think we played some really good football. We had a very early scare with Josh Sargent. Luckily it went past the post, but then Barry Bannon doing what Barry Bannon does versus Liam Manning teams. He has a habit of scoring absolute worldies past this man's teams, and he must be absolutely sick of it. Absolute rocket of the goal, and to say that was the goal he scored on Bonfire Night, kind of impressive. But you look at how we played in that game, we played some good stuff. We could have had a lot more chances and we just didn't take them, sadly, because we had 15 shots and 6 on target. You want that to be in double figures or closer, damn it, which is a shame. And you went into that first half thinking, okay, we played some good football here, we could be a bit better and be a bit more on top here, because we are playing some excellent stuff and trying to knock it around. But you then start getting into the situation where we don't take chances, and ironically, in saying that, Jamal Lowe does not take a chance, which then they go on the counter, take their chance and make it 1-1. And it's just a hammer blow of where we are, because at that point we would have been on -2 points. And you're thinking, great, that's brilliant, we chipped another bit off, even though we are more than likely going to be getting another point deduction some point soon, because we still got to answer for the embargoes that we did in the summer. So it's one of those situations where you look at it and you go, right, that's a shame we haven't taken our chances. We've not really been able to do what we should have done. And it's annoying, because I really want us to be able to knock some of them off and go again. And when you have things like this, especially a team who's not in good form at all, like really bad form, you want to be able to take those chances. And there were a couple of good chances near the end, but nothing really properly dropped for us. And sadly, that ends up being a draw for us. And the problem is, with that being a draw, you think about how that looks and how everyone else has done as well. Because in games like that, you were expected to try and get something like all 3 points, just because of how bad performance they're in. Now, games for that set of games, that was match day 14. Derby County won 2-1. Blackburn Rovers won 1-0. Charlton won 1-0. 96 minute or 90, I think it was 92 minute winner. They keep doing late winners. Oxford lost 3-0 to Stoke. Ipswich Watford 1-1. Leicester Middlesbrough 1-1, and with the Middlesbrough situation, Middlesbrough manager on Friday got the whole situation where he was getting looked at about being pointed at the Wolves manager. Birmingham won 4-0. Coventry beat Sheffield United 3-1. We got a 1-1 draw. Southampton won 2-1. Preston won 2-1. And Portsmouth versus Wrexham was 0-0. So you're like, there were some good games in there, but you're thinking, can we get back into this to try and do something for the game versus Southampton? Again, another team that's not doing well. They sack Will Still. Will Still is no longer their manager. I think that was the right decision for them. But I also think you look at the managerial appointment that they've had with both Republic for Southampton. It hasn't been the best. They haven't got it to work yet. And Danny must be thinking, I should have just stayed a bit out. I could have had the Southampton job. But at the same time, you look at what's going on. It's another team that's not doing particularly great. And you're thinking, can we try and get something? Because it's a interim manager. Yes, they got a win midweek. You're thinking, is there something we can exploit there? And try and just see if it was a blip. But you go into the game at the weekend versus Southampton and they just dominated us. Really did for bits in that game. Especially in the first half. We struggled to get hold of the ball for a while. We did get going eventually. The likes of Cads and Ingles, I thought, did absolutely fantastic on the press. Really good. But it was a case of 9 minutes in. Absolute howler from Hover again. It's another howler from Hover. And I can't count how many times we said on this podcast how bad some of the blunders he's making when he's in net. And this one was another, like, basically shots at him and he goes to save it. Either he tried to tip it or catch it. I don't know what he tried to do. And it just not had enough power on the save. And it then trickled in over the line. And you're thinking, what more else is going to happen? Then there was a mix-up with Holvar and Sean Fashiri. And then Sean had to clear it off the line. The goal for Azaz, absolutely incredible bit of play by Southampton. Gets down and gets in a good position, gets a good goal. But they were really quick off that counter. As soon as we lost it, bang. Bang, bang, bang. They were straight down the other end. And one thing Sheffield Wednesday has had this season is a lack of problems when it comes to the counter-attack. The counter-attack, we still have not been able to figure out how to stop it as such. And when you have things like a counter-attack team that at you, we leave massive holes when we go forward. There are big gaps in our back lineup when we go forward. And that's just a case of squad depth. We don't have the squad there for this to carry on. But one of the really positive things when we started getting back into this, Harry and Math was an absolute rocket. Taking a little bit of a lesson from Barry from midweek. Really good goal. Takes it, bounces in front of Bazuna as it goes in. And you're thinking, we're back in there. Can we push a bit more pressure on? And that's what I was saying. Like, you had the likes of Cads and McNeil starting. And it worked really well. I thought McNeil had some really good bits of play. He had a fantastic chance in the first half where he had a really good chance. It was an excellent save by the keeper. And it was one of those things where Southampton dominated, but we also got into little spells where we could have got back into it. I reckon if that one by McNeil goes in, it's a different game. And you're thinking you're going into this at 2-2 and thinking, right, that changes things a little bit. You go into the second half, though, and really good ball to Armstrong. Just muscles Iorfa off the ball, really, and gets it and goes into the box and scores. And we just didn't have enough, really, to put up anything else. Really, we tried, we huffed, we puffed, we had some good chance of where they'd had to pull off some save, but nothing that you were thinking, oh, that could have been it. And it's a shame, really, because I thought, again, it's another game where we've actually not been that bad in terms of performance. We tried to still stay in the game, but as we get kept on going, we struggle to break their attack at all, and that's the biggest problem you've got at the minute, because we are struggling with breaking their attack at times, and you want to be able to do that, because when we got chances, we need to be burying them. And the issue we got and had for a number of seasons now, we don't take the chances that we get given. And if we don't start taking chances, it's going to really just keep piling up on us. And we're already in a situation where the fan base as a whole have all basically said we are down. We are down in down this season from the Championship. It will take an absolute miracle if we stay up. Anyone who coming into the administrators will know we are a team who's going to be League One, and you're going to be having to do a big rebuild of everything. Not just rebuilding the team, you'll be rebuilding infrastructure, everything. It'll be a whole new rebuild across the board. So that's something we already know. So it's one of them where you look at the game and you think, damn it, that was a good chance for us to possibly just try and go into the weekend, the international break, with a bit positive from on the pitch. But at the same time, I've seen people look at like how many games we haven't won in, but it's not a case like any other season. You probably go, okay, that looking like you need to start looking at changing manager. We can't afford to change manager, even if we wanted to. And I also don't think it would be this position if Henrik got given some of the tools that he could have used to do this. That's the thing for me. If he got some of the tools, maybe there would be a bit more of a chance. And the thing, we got no squad depth. That's going to be the biggest issue. We've always had it from this season, that our biggest issue is going to be squad depth. We don't have it. We haven't got someone who can come off the bench and just change a game. Like, it's a shame that we don't have that, but we just don't. So, the games at the weekend were Watford, Bristol City 1-1. Hull 3, Pompey 2. Hull are having a cracking season. Derby County 2, Blackburn Rovers 1. Also, Derby having a good season as well. Millwall Preston 1-1. Michael Smith getting a goal sheet there for Preston. Ipswich 4, Swansea 1. In that game, there were 2 own goals for the same player for Swansea. That they will not want to look at that back. Coventry 1, Stoke City 0. They got 40 goals this season already, and we're only in November. Granted, the lad who scored the really good goal in 85 minutes had to go off injured after that. He looked like he properly hurt himself. West Brom 2, Oxford 1. They will be very happy with that. I think Ryan Mason is another manager who's having to look over his shoulder a little bit. That trapdoor could be coming. Southampton 3, Wednesday 1. Sheffield United got a 0-0. Middlesbrough 2, Birmingham 1. Now, Middlesbrough are in the situation now that they are looking for a new manager, as it looks like Rob Edwards is about to be appointed as the Wolves manager. I'm a bit lost for words with it. I think I read somewhere, don't quote me on that he's a Wolves boy. It's his team. But things like that sometimes don't work out the way you want it to, as I'm just going to go to the next goal line and tell you that doesn't work. Norwich City 1, Leicester 2. That game got Norwich City manager Liam Manager sacked. He got sacked. There was a protest after the game at Norwich asking for change, and they got change. And I think they still want a bit more change in boardroom level. It does seem like fans are keeping an eye on what we've done a little bit and going, look, if we put up a bit of a thing, there can be change. And it's interesting seeing how other clubs are going. Like, I'm pretty sure Leicester are due a point deduction at some point or something of that nature. We haven't heard anything from it. But Norwich City do sack their manager. They haven't won a game at Carrow Road all season. They're picking up unwanted records after unwanted record. Is not what they want. So it is what it is. And Wrexham 1, Charlton 0. Josh Windass with the penalty for Wrexham. I wish we could have kept him. I really do at times. But at the end of the day, it's good to see him settling to life at Wrexham. Controversial one for the penalty. Was it a penalty? Offside, all that kind of stuff? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it got given. You can't change what got given. So, your top three is a throwback to the Prem, really. Coventry, Middlesbrough, Stoke are your top three. Then it's Hull and then Preston and Hull, Millwall. Ipswich, Bristol City, Charlton, Derby County, Birmingham, Leicester, Wrexham, West Brom, Watford, QPR, Southampton, Swansea, Blackburn Rovers, Portsmouth, Oxford, Sheffield United, Norwich City, and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday on -4 due to the point deduction. Norwich on 9, United on 10, Oxford on 13. Blackburn win, it really does help them. The top is 34 points to Coventry. They are slightly running away with it. Middlesbrough on 29, Stoke on 27. Middlesbrough got to get this appointment right with what Rob Edwards going. If they do not get this right, they could tumble. So it's got to be the right appointment. It makes you go back to when Blackburn Rovers were like in the playoffs. And it didn't go right. The only difference is they sacked him. Not Blackburn. I'm thinking wrong club. Birmingham, when they sacked the manager and they tumbled. And then it just went from there. So we have to make sure we don't. They have to make sure they get it right. Because they could tumble down the league. And nobody will want to see that for them. But Middlesbrough are pretty good at getting good appointments. They are very rare at getting it wrong. So yeah. So we're now into the international break for 2 weeks. So, and we all know the next game back. We'll talk about that when we get to it. But let's go right into the Sheffield Wednesday news. And there is some good news for a change for Sheffield Wednesday. Good news, which is what you want to hear. So this is from the start. Sheffield Wednesday employees received correspondence on salary payments with a Christmas gesture thrown in. Sheffield Wednesday provided clarity on its non-football employees around the next 2 rounds of salary payment to start understand. Staff at the club have been subject to mass uncertainty around the full timings of payments and monthly wages over the last few months due to the financial perils of Delphine Chancery. Final year, a chairman hit the club workforce and senior players since March. Wow. Administrators have seen a remarkable turnaround in cash flow. Fortunes of the club fan base have reserved a support of trust-led boycott and bending since the start of the season. A vibrant marketing and engagement push joint administrator Kisher have confirmed that the current cash flow forecasts that are expected to make £1 million profit at the club by the end of January, though it is hoped that new owners will be in situ by then. The upturn in finance position allowed Administrator Begson Trainer to oversee the payments of salaries at a day early for October, and now in correspondence we'll see by the start it has been confirmed that the employees that will receive their full salaries for the month of November and December. In a goodwill gesture, there's also confirmed that the wages will be paid early in December in order to assess with the expended of Christmas weeks. They will receive their payment on the 23rd instead of the scheduled payday, the 31st. That is fantastic news. That is absolutely fantastic news that we have managed to make it that this staff that have worked tirelessly and under a lot of pressure get a little bit of a Christmas bump, that they will get their money early in Christmas. The fact that we have got up to $1 million profit by the end of January is even better. Still got to keep going. Doesn't mean we have to stop. We still have to keep putting money in. this is something that they have said time and time again. We have to still keep putting money in there. So we still have to do that. But this is absolutely fantastic with what's going on and how everything has played out. And it just goes to show you how we are still trying to push things forward and trying to make sure that we got everything in the right way. And it's one of them where you look at Sheffield Wednesday as a whole at the minute. We are just slowly but surely moving the goalpost a little bit to try and make it a much better prospect for other people coming into the club. So, player of the month again go to Svante Ingolson, which is fantastic. Second one, I think he's been doing really well of late, and the more we can have that happen, the better. Hopefully there'll be more and more of that to come. But it's good that Svante Ingolson has once again picked up player of the month. I think he absolutely deserves it. He's just knocking on the door. He's doing really well. I said a lot last season, me personally, I think he just needed a run of games. And the fact that he got those run of games is really good to see. We've also got the situation where we have got parties interested in Sheffield Wednesday have visited Hill, but this is from Star again. Protected buyers of Sheffield Wednesday has already been given a guided look round Hillburn, the club Middlewood training ground. Administrators have confirmed that the Owls are in administration, with them having been brought forward by the club to oversee a sale process that will officially remove Chancery as ownership. A 28-day marketing period is always on the way, and 7 interested parties reached the most advanced stage of the process date by presenting 50 million proof of funds. That number is expected to rise to 9 or 10. Speaking at Sheffield Wednesday Supporter Trust on 13, Joint Administrator Chris Whitfield confirmed that they have already shown one protected buyer around the club and stadium training ground. The future party is set to be given the same experience next week. No bids yet have been submitted to the club, though the administrator appears to have little doubt that these will come and set a soft deadline for bidders in place and initial offers. The ones Chris Weaver, Joint Ministers, has said the ones that have been given proof of funding, we have told them we are setting a soft deadline on November 21st for the indication of offers. What that should enable to do is to see which of them are serious, interesting, what type of offer we're looking at. Then we can get down to a short list that's smaller than that. Today, Thursday, we were shown one of 7 around the training ground. There's another 2 or 3 that's shown around next week. So it's getting to the stage now we are being really digging into details and start asking the sort of questions that they want to buy the club or not. Whitfield said that each of the 7 parties has to come forward with proof of fund. That means a significant improvement of the situation at Wednesday. And a few he have significant financial means who will probably revolutionize the club. The identity of the party given the purpose that may well become public not at the stage future due to diligence is done at the end of the deal. I often can't say who they are, but what I can say is then they know how to run businesses. They all have money running businesses. They got cash. So whoever it ends up being well, will deliver in much better position than we are now in the last few years. He also made things said about the Waltons as well, about how they haven't had anything from them yet. It's one of them situations where it's just happening, and at the end of the day, we are just getting everything in line, and that's the main thing. We're getting everything in line, and we're trying to make sure we can get it all sorted and have the right people in. And he has turned around and said that once we get to know, he wants to potentially have preferred bidders in by the 23rd of November, which we know why that one's very important, and why it's going to be one of those situations where once it all comes to it, we'll see how it goes. So we'll see how everything plays. So let's speak about the situation we want, which is getting players in. Jan Valery's been speaking to the media, and he said an EFL ruling Whether Sheffield Wednesday will be allowed to bring in free agents over the international will be one player keeping an eye on it is Jan Valery. Jan Valery, one of the ones who we need to replace because in January he's at the African Cup of Nations. So we will have it where he's not there. Speaking after the game against Norwich, the senior man made no secret to boot a couple of people to come in and help. He said that will be really important. We need a really good players and experienced players. There's a lot of good free agents, so we'll see what happens. That will be really important, especially in December with all the games we're going to have. If we have injuries or if people are tired, we need to have a good bench. It will be really important. It will be tough if we don't get anyone in. We have a really good young players, and we've seen that in the cup, so we trust them. But sometimes you need to have a bit of experience as well. It will be a big help to get some players before January, but we'll see what happens. And the thing is, with how we've had it recently, we've lost players. We thought Ernie Weaver's looking fantastic. He's looking great. Played a good couple runs of games, gets injured. George Brown looking really good, looking solid, looks like a promise. Again, gets injured because run of games. He spoke after the game. Well, he said, we wanted all 3 points, especially with all the chances we created, so it's tough to just take 1 point. But we are unbeaten in 2 games. We were. If you look at the first half, we were stronger than early in the season, but it was disappointing. The fans are the best. They are just the best. You could feel it when something was missing the ball, missing passes. The fans were so with us, and it was definitely good for us in the head. It was amazing. I loved it. And it's one of those things where you see players say that, you get really excited about what could happen next and how things can go. Because at the end of the day, we are a club that is whoever gets us will get us right. They've got to get us right. I can't see how they could get it so wrong. Let's put it that way. I can't see how it could go wrong because we are in a really good position for them to come in, to start a clean slate and start again. But they've got to make sure there's a plan. The one thing we've had for the longest time is no plan, and we need one. So, Sheffield Wednesday has held talks with Manchester United over plans for Harry Amas beyond January, which is good. The exciting England Youth International scored his first goal in senior football in the defeat to Southampton. Amas has been shown excellent form in recent weeks and best and enjoyment in playing Pedersen's style, with his parent club believed to be keeping a close eye on his progress. At the time, his signing break clause included a loan deal. It aimed that recruitment restrictions was sanctioned by the FA only on the basis that Man United would cover all costs associated with the loan. When they've been done by recalls of important players in recent seasons, with Shea Charles being the latest example before terms of the temporary deal for Southampton were renegotiated, it could stand to reason that if the Owls subject to takeover by the new year, it is expected the terms of Amas loan thing could be realigned. I think that's what it says. They asked Pedersen after game what the situation is with it. I spoke to Kevin Beadle, the recruitment manager. Today we have been in Manchester having a meeting with them about the situation for the future. I think we should have this back in the next 2 or 3 weeks. When we speak about development from Harry and what could it look like after Christmas, it is understood that Man United picked out Wednesday as a good home for Amas due to the likelihood of a good run of playing time and trusted Pedersen with his improvement as a player. With a focal place upon upturn in the defence's ability. The out boss sees vast improvement in the former Watford youngster, both a footballer and a young professional, and expect the keenness to retain Amas for the rest of the season. The young man who came into Sheffield Wednesday and the young man who had just left the stadium are two different humans, said Pedersen. His progression had been amazing, and for young players like Harry, he came here with a lot of energy, but then the champion always comes knocking with 3 games in a row. It's tough, but he keeps on playing. This week against West Brom, against Norwich, and against Southampton, he's shown again 3 good teams that he can compete with. It's not only that he can compete, he can be dominant in some phases. So I think he has done a big development as a player, and what I see as a young man who has started to have a big knowledge about himself as a human, who wants to be and who he doesn't want to be. He started to control with his move, come down by the more stable. I see a young guy who started to physically strong. He runs more. He has started to sprint more. He's more acceleration. He started to have smaller breaks in games, and he started to be better between phases of the game. I like him. He's a good boy. He's a good player, and he loves to learn. We love to have him here. And I think Harry's done absolutely brilliant for us in the time that he's been here. It's what we just needed to bring in. And it's one of those things, if we keep having players like this come in and do stuff, we have to make sure we are in that ability to just keep going and going again and trying to get them in. Now, we've always been a good place for people to send youngsters on loan. Just always have been. For the longest time, we've had that kind of good rapport with some clubs, and know it's a good place for a lad to not be able to go missing, because if you go missing, you'll get found out by the fans and stuff like that. So it's good that we have the connection with certain people. I love for to go back in for Jaden Hecky in the January window if we can. They are open to letting him go, so hopefully we can do that. But I think for us as a whole, it's good that Harry's enjoying his football here. It's good that Pedersen's enjoying what he's doing. And if we can get him in past January and maybe open up communication down the line, maybe there's an opportunity we get another loan. I doubt it if we're going down to League One, though. I think if he had done well in the Championship, he would go back to another Championship team. But again, it could be a case that they go, hey, you looked after him for that season, you fancy doing it again. You never know. You never know what Man United thinking going to be. But I do think Man United are starting to get to that point where they are looking at some of their youngsters a lot more and who they can get in and play well. But would you like to see Harry Amath back at Wednesday after this season? I know I would. Let me know in the comment section below. So Henrik Pedersen confirms the identity of someone he would like to bring in as a free agent as we wait for the confirmation from what the EFL allowed to do. Sheffield Wednesday expected to receive a verdict on Monday with regard to whether or not they are allowed to make free agent signing between now and January transfer with Henrik Pedersen, confirming the one target in mind. The Ayers have been largely unable to strengthen their squad since being placed under the EFL recruitment restriction for a range of regulation breach linked to the club dire financial state under the failed former chairman Dave Chansiri. Administrators have seen several reversals of fan spending, boycott and transformative improvement in cash flow, which club argues should allow for free agents to be signed for if they can prove their forecast for the EFL Independent Club Financial Report. It had been hoped that Wednesday will be given a firm indication of the ruling by the end of the week, but they are going to keep talk continue into Monday, with the Al boss hoping that an agreement can be struck ahead of grueling nature of the mid-week fixture schedule coming up. I'm still hopeful that, but we don't know anything yet. On Monday, there will be a meeting, and from there, we will know what we can do. I'm looking forward to Monday afternoon to see what happens. The Star reported on interest from former Leeds captain Liam Cooper far back in August. It's understood that the experienced centre-half was close to agreeing a deal with the club before the sanctions were in place. The Danish coach confirmed remains a primary target, having early selection. A central midfielder is also a high priority area, which I agree with if you are losing Jan Valery. The different profiles and lists have been drawn up by the club's recruitment team. They can also act as fast as even fact, in the event they are given the green light on business of some sort, it's likely Wednesday will have to act under the terms of salary cap on the deal, even though they are given the okay. Here's one. We have more than one list, but if you don't know what you can pay salary, what you can budget, it's difficult. But we have a different list with different categories, and we will see what happens. We hope it for the best. And we all hope it's going to be for the best, that when they can get a deal done or the EFL can lift these sanctions for it, because we don't have squad depth. The one thing we are missing right now is squad depth. And if we could get squad depth, that would be absolutely fantastic. A couple of more players in, a couple of more people just to help us out a little bit. But we just don't. And there are some very good free agents if you can get them to agree terms with us under the salary cap and get people in. They may turn around and say, right, you can only have one or two. We'll let you have this one because he's injured, this one because he's injured, and this one. You might get 3 players in. 3 players for us will be fantastic. We then got to find out, will there be a little bit of a lax for us in, say, January? I doubt it. But there have been a lot of talk about January. Maybe there's going to be something where if the EFL know that there's new ownership coming up and they show what the new financial situation is something going to change that? We don't know. We're in the land of the EFL and what they want to say yes to and what they want to say no to. We've also got this thing where we are waiting on the EFL for more point deduction. We are due more point deductions. Chris Wigfield, the administrator, says he is trying to get them all put in this season. He wants them all to be put in this season and be done. Because it's only fair on whoever comes in that if everything is gone, that they get a fair run and crack at it. We will be under a 2-year business plan because we've been in administration with the EFL, so we know that. And there will be a cap on what we are allowed to bring in on wages as well, because we saw that at Derby. They went into administration, came out of administration. They had a 2-year cap. They had a 2-year business plan they had to follow. They also had a wage cap they had to follow as well. And I think at the time they could only get frees and loans. Now we've got a situation, we may only be able to bring in frees because of the transfer fee and loan fee thing, because that's not going to get lifted till winter 2027. So we're going to have the situation where we have to go very smart into free agents. Now, it wouldn't be the first time we've had to navigate that kind of situation in League One. We had to do it when we first went down. Darren Moore had only able to get frees in. That was it. So we not like we haven't done this before. And as long as we get recruitment right, you can do okay in League One and get out of it. But you've got to get the recruitment absolutely spot on. And the thing is, because of us having the dire ownership we've had beforehand, it can put anyone who comes in have to know that they are working on this and they have to work within that before they might want to do certain things. But maybe this is something where new ownership comes in and goes, right, we'll have this. We know what we've got to do on the playing side. We've got this restriction. Then they might go, right, but we know we don't have much restrictions in terms of infrastructure. How do we improve this part of the stadium? How do we improve this part of the training ground? Where can we make things faster for people getting a pint? Where can we improve the general atmosphere? And when people are coming in, is there going to be something? Could they you kind of hope they look at that fan zone and go, oh God, that's horrible. How can we make that better? How can it be bigger and better? Is there somewhere we can have it somewhere else? There's things like that you've got to think about. But we are in an international break now. So with an international break, we need to make sure that the players get well rested and no injuries pop up during this, touch wood. Cads is going to Jamaica, so he's going on international duty. So good luck to him on there. Hopefully we'll know more about certain players coming back, aka George Brown, Shea Charles, you kind of hope Charles is back for United, but I also wouldn't. And again, the next big game for us is Sheffield United. It's the Steel City derby when we come back, which is at our place. It's on Sunday. It's going to be a tough one. Derbies always are. Both teams are not in the position they would like to be. Because let's be honest, we would not like to be here, but we're here due to two golden elephants, man, that we could have done without. But we need to make sure whoever comes in is right. And the administrators will make sure that they can come in and do the right thing. But if we can have some preferred bidders in by the 23rd as well, maybe that'll give a little bit more of a boost in terms of how people are feeling as well. I'm still quite confident with what the administrators have said, but they expect it to be sold by the end of the year. I'm still confident as that. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm still very confident with their situation saying they can have it sold by the end of the year. So let's see what happens. This has been the Talking Wednesday podcast. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. Enjoy your international break. I don't know what's going to be happening with videos on the channel while it's a break. I don't know what the situation is for decks and internet and what he can do and how far along he's going to be moved and if he can have a base set up for him to record. You're just going to have to wait and see. I haven't found out what we're doing with that. I have a funny feeling there might be some stuff related to the draft, but apart from that, that's about all I've got for you today. So stay safe, look after yourselves. If you're someone who struggles a little bit when it gets a bit darker things, speak to people, please speak. So have a good rest of your week and we'll see you soon. Bye.